But where we're going to start with this is this game called Arena Revolution. Sorry, not Revolution. Renovation. Very different words. One is the, usurping of the government, arguably for good or bad reasons, and the other one is rebuilding a, destroyed building. Like I said, the only things I know about this game is it looks a lot like Hotel Renovator, and I do not believe it's by the same developers. I could be wrong about that, because when I went to the tool I used to get this and I clicked on, what games this company had published, it said, I didn't find anything for your search results. Which didn't actually make sense, because one would assume this game was one of the games that they had as something published. So basically, the 2-second research, I wasn't able to get good information. But my understanding of the gist of this game is you show up at like a sports arena and it is a dump. And you make it not a dump. That's my understanding of the game. Now you have the Wabajack. You feel hindered. Oh, and also, I'm going to test to see if this worked. We have one of our first custom sound alerts on the channel. Because I figured there's lots of times they play roguelites and roguelikes where they'll be like, okay, here's your bonus. Nice. I would like this bonus. It goes, okay, now you need to choose your negative. Here's your 2 choices. And you're like, I hate both of these. And other situations like that where you're just like, oh, I hate all my options. And that felt like just a really good one for that. Anyways, so let's get into this. And like I do with all new games we play on the channel, is I go to the accessibility stuff and see what we've got. You got multiple language support. Cool. Not really a whole lot here that's accessibility-wise, which is fine. Motion blur off. Gross. Game devs. Like, straight up delete this. Motion blur. You take time to develop it. It takes a lot of computational power, making your game run like garbage. It causes a lot of people with motion sickness problems. Stop enabling it by default. Like, I don't mind if you have it as an option because you happen to like it. That's fine. Get rid of it. What is the second option? What to do? Anti-aliasing. That has to do with when you're looking at like pixels on the edge, like smoothing them out so they blend together. That way you don't end up with like weird hard edges on stuff. I'm not sure we'll notice that much with this, honestly. With as high a resolution, you probably won't notice it. But that's anti-aliasing. I'm sure someone who is actually an expert in that is like, the way you've described that is technically inaccurate, and they would probably be right. So there's driving in the game, so we do have vehicles. And sound settings. It does not appear to recognize Dvorak, so that's not super surprising. Wait. Rotation degree is left control. Alright, well, I mean, we'll try it. I won't knock it first. That's a weird choice of control. Okay. So. That does not feel right. Alright. Let's lower resolution. The frame rate seems to be pretty bad. Still feel bad. Still not great, but... Alright. Activate the scanner using B. That... Oh, that's V. Oh. I mean, I appreciate that makes it easy to see where stuff is. But also weird. That sledgehammer animation is an experience. That is the least aggressive sledgehammer animation I've ever seen. Hold right mouse button to pick up. Oh, is this one of those ones where I can, like, toss it? Alright. The table's fine. And this is an early access version of the game, by the way. I'm also curious about the fact that we had a bunch of music going into this as fine, and then it was just gone. And while the birds are cute and all that, why hold the pickup? Can I pick up multiple? Oh, thank goodness. I was about please don't make me pick these up one by one. Okay. So it's definitely not the same developers as Hotel Renovator. Because one of the things I praised about Hotel Renovator was their decision to not make you pick up stuff one by one by one. You just kind of hit it with the broom and call it a day. So going back to this feels just kind of annoying. It's like, it's not actually a problem, but you get spoiled with basic quality of life settings. Alright, so we have a pressure washer. As rotten as those tiles are looking, I have a feeling you wouldn't be taking off just the graffiti. This would be popping off some of those tiles. Most surfaces need to be repaired before they can be painted. Ah, yes. So, this wall here, with clearly, like, annihilatedly chipped tiles, and we're just gonna, yup. That's 100% coming back down in real life. You can't just plaster over, like, shattered tile and expect, like, it not to come apart later. The foundation underneath is no good, so it's gonna, like, bang at a wall and a big chunk's gonna come down where the glue has long since failed on the tile. I've reached level 2. Oh hey, it gets my Steam profile, and it weirdly makes it much brighter for some reason. Okay, so I can upgrade my tools, which suddenly I have music in game again. Not in the actual game, but just here. So, well, I think we go for more XP first. Most games, getting your more XP options right at the beginning is usually your win. Unless it's like a horrendously bad rate. It's just a classic. If you're gonna do the thing that makes things go faster, get it at the very beginning. Because if you wait to the end, you've only gotten the benefit for a little while. Okay, so now we can paint. Press P to select the color wheel. Why are you making the buttons all the way over there? Ah, I have, like, not many options. Okay, so I gain money doing this. So this isn't like House Flipper where I spend a bunch of money as I do things and then at the end I get paid. This is, I'm getting paid as we go. I appreciate that I do not need to get like 30 buckets and do them one at a time. All right. Oh, I could probably just. Why are you P? Oh, I have flashlight. Why can't... Do I have to unselect the tool? And then select again to be able to change colors? Well, we're painting everything this color, I guess. Weirdly, it has changed colors. Oh, now it gives me the prompt to choose the... Okay. Early access. Kinda bum I don't get more options for, like, textures or whatever. What did you choose? It doesn't seem to be even letting me change the... There we go. Weird. Sure. You do not install tile with a claw hammer. Don't do it. That's not how tile works. If any kind of hammer, you're using a rubber mallet, something that doesn't have a hard edge, because you're going to chip your tile. Alright, so now I need to choose furnishing, which is what? Selling, brush, trowel. Which tab? I see. And what am I putting in here? You can filter objects by room type, hitting room type from the arrows. Sort by room type. What room am I even making here? What room is this supposed to be? It's clearly not going to be a locker room. Got, you know, way in and out. This is the front entrance. Actually, that might be the locker room. Well, I mean, it's table tennis is what we're here for. So, like, this is the front area with a dumpster in it. Oh, right, I have to break it first. Alright. I figured I'm just gonna clean all the debris first. Not worry about going room by room. I don't know what I did, but okay. Oh yeah, doing quests out of order. Just as I was always intended. Alright, we're level 3. Where's my skill points? 10. Okay, 10 per level. Okay. Alright. So, compared to the other games we played that were like renovation style games on the channel, I would say one big negative I have about this is a lot of the choices the other games made to, like, you know, make like basic tedium kind of things weren't there. Like for Hotel Renovator, all these little individual piles of debris, being able to just kind of like whip away the whole stack of them with one quick sweep. I find myself immediately missing that. But one thing I am appreciating is, like, the other ones you kind of just wink, wink, nudge, nudge away a lot of stuff. Versus this one, they have, like, pressure washing, have a whole bunch of things. That said, it also kind of bothers me that you just literally go up to a tile wall and just smack some tiles over, or smack some, like, stucco over top of broken tiles and all that. And it's like, yep, it's fine. These clearly shattered and moldy tiles, it'll stick. So it's kind of weird that one, they do pretty good about adding new stuff like this kind of thing, versus making me like walk up to the tile wall and just smack it with a hammer to like knock off all the tiles to make just like an exposed wall and then stuccoing it. You know, we can just wink, wink, nudge, nudge that you cleaned it up when you smash it all off. So there's kind of a weirdness there that in one way they have more attention to detail while also having less than a lot of the games in the area. There is some like weirdness graphically that I had to really turn down the graphics. It doesn't. Okay. It doesn't really translate well. I'm not sure if you'll notice it on stream because like encoding and all that. But when I had the graphics up, it wasn't even a frame rate issue. It's things didn't like. I don't know how to describe it. It's like not frame rates, but there was stuff that just didn't seem to move at the correct speed. Not like since it's hard to explain. But like when you're turning, you're like something is not right about how I'm turning. Like your eyes and me. Okay, so that is the locker room. All right, good to know. I was like, is this really the locker room for table tennis? But I guess it is. But yeah, so there was some like weird graphic thing going on. Like this doesn't move how I expect it to move, and I don't know exactly how to describe it. The motion blur, like luckily you can turn it off, so I guess it's not that big a deal. I just personally wish motion blur would stop existing entirely. Or if it does, again, it would default to off. I know that one thing that can be done is in simulation games when things are like getting really volatile moving around. They'll do like a fade to black kind of motion blur. So it's not motion blur so much as like they black you out. That way for people with motion sickness, they'll like black out the like really violent movements that can like really mess with you. But that's not what regular motion blur is. Regular motion blur, from what I've heard, I don't personally experience it. I've heard that tends to be more problematic for people with motion sickness than helpful. Okay. So I just wanted to do it this way, because now I got all the trash off the ground. We've got all the graffiti cleaned up, I believe. So I'm going with this, just do one thing. I do appreciate that I don't have to, like, go and then pick up another thing of bricks or go and pick up another thing like that. That's how House Flipper does it, but I think that's fine for that game because they do deliberately make it so it's supposed to be that kind of realism. That's like a key part of the game. Versus a lot of these other games, it's like, no, you're doing other stuff. So it's like the design is more the consideration here than did you take the time to grab your 40 stacks of tiles and one by one them on the floor and all that. Does it go the whole way up? Nope. I can't do that wall, I guess? These walls are off limits, apparently? Oh, it could be those walls are considered in good repair, so I don't have to stucco them. Like, I probably still have to paint them. Please tell me I can paint these door frames. Oh, I'm supposed to break the door frames. Heck yeah. I was sitting there looking at the door frames like, please tell me I can change this. This looks terrible. Alright. So we've got all of this to paint and all of this to paint. It's so weird. Like, sometimes I can choose to change. Oh! Weird. I can only change it when I'm nearby a wall. Well, first we'll choose the light color for the ceiling. All right, here's a question. If I repaint the same spot, okay, I can't. I was like, if it pays me every single time I paint a square, what's to stop me from just like making a macro to just switch the paint, paint the spot, switch the paint, paint the spot, switch the paint, paint the spot? I mean, there probably doesn't need to be a reason. I still don't get why that's P. It's so far away. Okay. Yay, I gained a level, but I'm not going to use it. I'm saving up my points for more XP. And I'm getting a bunch of achievements like Brush Apprentice, Trowel Apprentice. Okay, so we got a blue room here. We've got this. And I'm assuming later on, yeah, later on I'd actually get to do tile walls, but we're not there yet. All right, so now we have this room. There really just isn't many color choices for us yet. All right, let's experiment. Do I get paid if I repaint the same spot? Nope. Okay. That's what I wanted to know. So, you can't just be terrible about it and just keep repainting the same spot to get free money. I do hope over time they do a thing where oh, I see. Oh, it's a different material wall. Okay. So they do have like different distinguished materials apparently. That's like it's weird the way it works that I couldn't like plaster it. Because now I have this wall which is like drywall, and then this is like an exterior concrete wall. And it also deeply upsets me that I have apparently painted this wall, but I'm apparently terrible at it, and I have left that bottom edge completely unpainted. So that isn't almost entirely super upsetting, actually. Oh, those window frames I can paint differently? Yeah, those are getting painted differently. Sure. Well, I guess I get to repaint this. Alright, so it just means I need to be a little bit more careful about aiming my paintbrush. Just have some kind of accent in here. And considering they only give me like 3 colors to work with, you know, I unlock the rest. So the question is, I notice there's wall up here. I can't reach it. I don't have a ladder. I can't move the tables. Well, it just gets to stay the way it is, I guess. Alright, now that I've ignored all that this entire time, I guess it is time to do the furniture. Because now this actually looks like a non-disaster. This, I cannot tell you how much these walls upset me. The fact that, like, it's very clearly, like, bare concrete that we just painted on. We did a crap job. The bottom isn't painted. I couldn't, like, smooth out, like, put, like, you know, some stucco or something, like, smooth it out. I've got these big, like, rivet spots in the wall that are just pits or whatever. I actually don't know what those are. There's pits in the wall. And I get that's, like, for putting the concrete on, but I'm not allowed to, like, plaster it up or all that. Okay. We'll try not to look straight at it. So, locker room. Okay. Let's say Because it can be 4 people per table max. Let's give him 8 lockers. I understand there could be people like on standby or whatever. They'll figure it out. Because it hasn't told me I need like any specific amounts of anything. So we will need a leather locker. Oh, right. So we literally only have locker benches. Again, there's only 8 people's worth here, so I don't need to put like 4 rows. Maybe a second row would be reasonable, but I don't think that's necessary. Put a radiator over there. It's trying to be like, you did this wrong. It's fine. You can exceed 100% if you want. Use your imagination. So I'm 72% furnished. So I guess I could really just put whatever I want. Oh, okay. A pin board. So a pin board so people can like whatever games. We'll actually put up 2 pin boards. It's like one can hold like the next upcoming tournaments and yada yada yada, and then like the one can have like the current stuff, like who's playing who or whatever. There is not a lot of furnishing here. I guess I'll put another set of benches. Okay. So this room is furnished, I believe. No, it needs... Okay, it's down... So I was looking up there in the arena progress. It's down there in the very bottom left, over there, that it's saying furnishing. I'm at 93%. I guess 2 more lockers will do. Of course, it's getting away. That's another thing I actually miss about Hotel Renovator. Is they were just like, we don't really care. Let's see. When renovating a sports facility, use the mouse to look around the keyboard with WASD. When you're close to the job location, you can see the instruction on the left side. Okay. Small tennis hall. I let me finish what I'm working on. I want an even number of lockers. So I need more furnishings in here. Oh, I missed renovation somewhere? What did I fail to renovate? Oh, we didn't floor the place. That's right. I was like, but. All right. All right, look. We're not going to be very creative in this place because we got like 4 options of floors. There's not a whole lot to work with. Okay, and I do not appear to be able to change the floor here. I was about to say, it's like all my options were tile, and playing table tennis on tile floor sounds like a fast way of smashing your head in the corner of the table or something. Okay, so now I need furnishing for what is this room? What are you labeled? I mean, you're an entrance room. All right, well, let's see. Corridor, I guess? Okay. it's really... Alright, one thing we're doing real fast is I'm going to go ahead and kill the in-game music, because it only pops up with the tablet and like this screen, and it's one track, so that is a bit of a bummer there. Alright, so I'll put a desk here. That's not really what I was hoping for, actually. I'm looking for like a front desk where you show up and it'll be like, well, your game is at this time, so proceed to the locker room. Oh, you're here to watch? Go through those doors. Here, a large plastic. Yeah, that'll work for a front desk. There's gonna be a single chair that matches it, is there? Alright. Hide locked. Okay. That makes our life a little easier. Alright, we're gonna have a water cooler. We'll put it over in here on this wall by the door there. An indoor AC, which will blow directly... So in real life, this wouldn't actually work where that AC is well, because it needs to have an exterior location as well, or it needs to vent out someplace. So I was going to put directly over top of the person sitting at the front desk, but that's not an option in my like real life brain cannot allow. Do we have... Put you in the corner. Let's scooch you over. So you won't be centered on the door, really, which is fine. Because the coffee is for employees only. Wait. Okay. It doesn't actually have a front and back. No, wait. Does power? Yeah, it's power. It's fine. That seems like the kind of nonsense you'd do in a random place. You'd get your coffee maker be the wrong size. You'd shove it in the corner because like hell you're going without your coffee. Again, we'll have the pin boards right there. Right there. Wow, this room needs a lot of furnishing. We will put a radiator in there. We'll put it directly below the air conditioner. Cozy armchair. Okay. And you think this dumpster is only here for like, while we're doing renovations, but that's not the case. That dumpster stays there. I don't know if it does or not based on the game mechanics or whatever, but in my headcanon, that is literally our trash can for the building. There's no other trash cans. We don't have a choice of trash recycling can. So all trash goes in there. Right next to the waiting area in the front. Which I'm putting here because I apparently need an absolutely obnoxious amount of furniture. What do you want from me for this place? Is this doing both rooms? It is not. I didn't think it was. This is an awfully cramped space. Sure, you can all have your own tables. Oh, that's actually bigger than I thought it was. You know what? That's fine. Who needs walking space? Yep, and no room to squeeze around these, actually. Yeah, no room to squeeze around these. You gotta disrupt the entire line of people. Oh, how snug can I make this? Can I make this super uncomfy? Alright. I need to be able to squeeze through there. Okay, can I squeeze? No. So I can't actually do that. I would like you to cease to exist. Oh, I bet you I know how to make it stop existing. No? No, that's not it. Am I... Oh, right, there's a cell tool. Alright, how do you feel about Ottomans? Yeah, right there. You gotta really lean back to use those Ottomans. Good lord, how many decorations does this room want? Room's gonna bankrupt me by the time it's done. Um, what else can I put up for decorations? So I'm at 52% furnished for this room. Each and every one of these is giving me about 1% furnishing. So I have a feeling this needs adjusting. Like, the locker room felt about right. You went to the locker room, you plunked down some benches. I had to put just a smidge more than I wanted to, but that's like, okay, that's fine. You know, that seems reasonable, whatever. Versus this one, I'm like literally just jamming stuff anywhere I can find any space to speak of. Can I put this on this? No. Like, I'm just jamming these things everywhere, desperately trying to hit the percent. If you see the walls, ceilings, or floor, you're not fish. That's really the way it's feeling at the moment. Can I put this on here? Nope. Oh, there's a spot over there. It's only 63% furnished. Um, and it's like super claustrophobic with just all of the junk in here. Oh, good. Water coolers aren't that big, right? We can cram some of these in here. So there's a little water. There's a little water. Certainly we should have water by the soda machine. That way you'll be encouraged to make the healthy choice. And just in case, we'll go ahead and double that up. And that's still not there. We'll triple that up just in case you are really thirsty. They're not wired into each other, so when you finish with one, you do have to shift it out of the way yourself. Get wrecked, I guess. But yeah. Yeah, so there's definitely a balance issue on the furnishing situation. Because they must realize there's a lot of people going, oh, we're going to run out of money trying to do this. I will get that 100%. There, it's 100% done. This room is done. Why did you call this a utility room? Is that my problem? Why is this a utility room? Hang on. If I sell stuff, do I get my money back? Like, is this a game that they penalize you for selling stuff back, or is this a game where you get full back? Is 180 for this? Nope, you get penalized. Okay, this is a sports area, and I got 88 bucks. So my guess is what was happening here was because these are corridor, quote unquote, furniture, only some of it counted, is my assumption of what happened. Or it gets counted at a lesser rate. Anyways, we're now going to leave this place because I'm out of money. So I can't finish it. This is deeply upsetting. One second. I mentioned at the beginning, we actually have a lot of bots in the channel today. Like a lot of bots in the channel today. They're not counting towards the viewers though, which makes me happy. Because like an hour before stream, I brought OBS and it was like, there's 30 people watching. All of them are bots, and they're all like names like chat, 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 and stuff like that. Like very likely bot names. Um, and so it's like, I basically sent out a DM to the mods being like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but like be ready just in case. Because I don't actually know if these are bots or people who have bot like names or what the situation is. So just be ready. And so there's a question, it's like, well, if they're view bots, like, is that something that you have to worry about? It's like, well, no, I don't have to worry about one if I'm encouraging it, or B if I'm like paying for it, or like if I'm doing something to instigate view botting, then yes, that's a problem. But like if someone arbitrarily view botted me, I don't like, again, if I'm encouraging in some way or being like, yeah, totally awesome, big number, stuff like that, that could be a problem. It could also, they could do stuff where it messes with your numbers. Like for example, we got follow bot at one point, which wasn't anything I triggered. It was just one day, like 50 or 100 people followed. When I say people, quote unquote, they're bots, followed, and what ends up happening is then Twitch turns around some period later and just deleted them all. So you can actually look at like the channel growth, and you'll see like the files that goes bonk, bonk. But it's not actually something I have to worry about as the streamer, again, unless I'm encouraging it or paying for it or doing something to cause it. Like if it's obviously that I'm deliberately trying to like intentionally make it happen, that is a problem. But it's like the nefariousness that's the problem. Like trying to pad out your numbers. Why did I smash the sinks? Like, they know you can just like take the bolts off, right? Like I've uninstalled sinks. It's not that big a deal. Depending on the style of sink. Like depending on the style of sink, what you'll do is you have like two lag bolts on the bottom part there. They can pull off. Like usually you'll do stuff like put sealant on the back. If you just get a pry bar and you pop it off after you remove the bolts or whatever. You don't just walk up to the sink and just sledgehammer it. Not unless someone did something really wrong, which, don't get me wrong, it does happen. There was a flashlight button I found earlier. Where did you go? Oh, God. Hang on. What flashlight do I own? Dear Lord. Turn away. What is this flashlight? How am I holding this? I have so many questions. Like in the other place, I turned on the flashlight. It's like, oh, it's this like really dim, pathetic flashlight, and like this is straight on power of the sun. It is sort of like House Flipper. I would definitely say of the games, House Flipper's the better game. We're experimenting. The devs were kind enough to give us a key. This is Arena Renovation. So it's kind of like if you've seen the Hotel Renovator, which is a very good game. It's kind of like that, but sports arenas as opposed to hotels. I would say, well, Hotel Renovator is definitely the better of the two games. Hey, Snare Space is definitely the better of the two games. This one has some decisions I'm not super thrilled by, and then some decisions that like, if I had played this first, wouldn't bother me or whatever. But now that I have played other games in the series where they've made more quality of life changes, I find myself instantly missing those quality of life changes. Okay, so I have the fuse box. So here's one thing, devs. When I have the flashlight on, you might need to make the text not white. My God, that flashlight is just so bright. E to open. Don't touch that. If you ever walk up to your power box and this is what is occurring, go outside your home and cut off your main power. Do not touch this. Turn off the power. Turn off the power. It's clearly on. Turn it off. It's the most basic of safety. Turn off the power. I know the game wants me to just grab these fuses. Turn this S off. Do not... Like, it's one thing if you have a blown fuse. That's fine. If you have a blown fuse that is actively shooting sparks, this metal cabinet can get electrified. These sparks are implying that metal cabinet is electrified. The electrical engineer in me is going, no, I want nothing to do with this. This is you turn this off. If you can't turn this out, we walk, where's the door out? You walk all the way out. This isn't the door out, is it? You walk all the way outside, you go to the main power hookup to your building, and you shut it off there. Alright. Which button's the flashlight? Okay. Where's the light coming from? I have questions. Like, this lighting makes sense to me. You've got lights out here. The sun's clearly over in this direction. We're getting long shadows over this way. The brightness in the room is about right. Same there. Like, all that makes sense. And then you just... Why is there some horror movie ominous thing? And I understand the reason is they want you to see the power lever and all that. But... Yep, that's what you do. At least it stops sparking when I pull out the fuses. So. Oh, I have to buy them? Do I have money? Oh, we are so broke. Sports facility? Nope. Tools? Nope. Electronics. Fuse. Why was that sparking horrifically? Well, I mean, I guess the power's coming in here, going into the box, and then going out here. So, real talk here. This goes on this side of the circuit, not that side of the circuit. The giant master turn on and off power switch comes before the fuse box. So you can turn off the power to the fuse box and not kill yourself playing with whatever nightmare fuel that fuse box was. Where's... I need to talk to an inspector. Like, right now. The code violations happening in this building are genuinely going to get people killed. And by people, I mean very specifically, I am going to be the one who gets killed here. Like, Cookie, how much does this electrical upset you? Because it direly upsets me. I am very not okay with that situation. Hey, a flashlight that has been here the whole time and is apparently still working. You are dying inside? I mean, in real life, if we're being genuine, my character would be dying on the inside, the outside, and probably on the floor, severely injured from really bad electrocution because they grabbed onto a metal fuse box that was spitting out sparks, and you couldn't turn off the power. Devs to this game. Alright, listen to me. Take this, move it there, take this, move it here. It needs to run through, though. It needs to run through. Not bypass. It needs to run through the power switch. The master power switch. And what you can do is, if you want it to fit, where you can draw the player's attention to it, because I get that's the reason you're having it blast sparks everywhere. What you should do is you walk in, you hear the laser light show of the sparks and all that going, and go, oh god. You walk up, turn off the power, do the fuses, and then turn the power back on. Let's see. To be fair, Rual, that would have caused a fire before you got there. You would have arrived. This is fair. That was 100% how you have an electrical fire. Because one assumes that was doing that when whoever was the last person to be at this place turned around and like gave it to you or sold it to you or whatever they did. That like the previous owner was just like, nope, not my problem, and then bribed whoever was the inspector who needed to look at the property before you were legally allowed to purchase it. Because, like, you know, a commercial building like this, you're having an inspection before you're allowed to sell it. And any buyer who doesn't want to be completely ripped off is going to very much be interested in making sure that inspection happens. Oh yeah, that's like, let's pretend that's the canon. We had the previous owner of the property, and they saw that nightmare, which apparently was just fuses. I don't believe that for a second, that you'd have just fuses and be blasting sparks everywhere into the corridor, but you know, we can pretend. And just went, you know, F this, I'm out. You know, walked outside, killed the power, and put up the building for listing. And again, somehow convinced the inspector to not actually inspect the property. There was certainly a exchange of money that happened there. What are you? Install window net post? Oh, I see. So where earlier I was like, why can't I repair the net? It's because the wheel was there. That's fine. But yeah. Like, for those who don't know, basically what ended up happening is code enforcement comes in, you're going to be selling a property. Because it's a commercial property, they're going to have to, like, do their inspection. Especially if someone complains or that there's, like, a safety violation or whatever, of which a fuse box actively shooting sparks into the middle of the room would certainly qualify as a very significant safety violation. And then code enforcement would say, hey, you have X amount of time to sort this crap out, or we're going to start fining you. At least that's the way it works here. Now, granted, I don't know where this takes place, whether this is like the US or Europe or wherever. I haven't seen any flags or distinguishing stuff that... Do we have any outlets? Outlets would be one thing that could help us distinguish. You can learn a surprising amount about a place. Well, I mean, it's in English for one. Oh no, I've seen the nightmare things of the polls in India where they add the infrastructure after the fact. But I mean, to be fair, if you look at the US around like the 30s, it was horrific as well, where none of these houses had ever had intention of being power. Like, it looked like the same thing, where you just have like 50 wires shooting off in every direction to every home nearby, because electricity was the new fandangled thing that people could finally start affording now. Because before that, you had to have your own personal generator on your own personal house just to run it. Yep, telephone wires were the same, network wires were the same later on. Yeah, one of the things that's definitely stand out is I'm immediately missing, in Hotel Renovator, where when cleaning up the trash, I don't have to do this nonsense. That I would just take my broom over this corner and just be like, nope, trash gone. Nope, trash gone. It's not super bad, because as far as sheer volume, it's smaller than Hotel Renovator. But I just find myself instantly missing that mechanic. I'm okay if I have to upgrade to get there. If that is an option. Let's actually look. If I look at my profile, it doesn't tell me. It seems to imply it's just faster. Well, my character is not an electrical engineer specifically. My character is like a renovator who apparently is a jack of all trades renovator. It's like the people who house flip, you know, like where you have the one guy who knows a thing or two about a thing or two, and then goes, I'm gonna buy this property and do all the repairs myself and then sell it. It's implying that, which for the record, actually a lot of house flippers don't operate in that manner. Some do. A lot of house flippers, what they'll do is they'll go in and there'll be a group of them that happen to, you know, between the group know enough people that they can do whatever they need. It's like all the menial labor usually will be done by whoever buys the property to flip it. But the moment you get into like the electrical and all that kind of stuff, they contract it out. It bites into the amount of money they make and all that, but it'll save them money when they inevitably fail code when, you know, it has to get its inspection and they did it all wrong because they're not experts in it. So where I get that room. I'm having this bad feeling because I misread the room situation in the last one, and I seem to start this one with the money I had from the last one kind of situation, that I may have like already financially doomed myself because I'm supposed to decorate this whole place with $1,100. And I don't know about you, I don't think $1,100 is going to be sufficient to build out an entire sports arena for a single tennis court, apparently. I need to break that table up before I can carry it. Okay. So weirdly, I do get paid for my trash. Okay, so that one spot's all done. Like, that's the thing. Like, the broken tile, where you just go up to the broken tile, you're like, yep, we'll just stucco right over this cracked and moldy broken tile. It'll be fine. And then, no, but we're gonna go ahead and clean off the graffiti. I'm gonna, like, literally plaster this wall. Um, but the graffiti's gotta go. Which, don't get me wrong, you should actually do that. Like, if you're gonna actually, like, fully stucco it kind of thing. Because that thin little layer of latex... Oh, I was like, where did all of it go? Because of the autosave. It, like, skipped real bad. But you can adjust it. Autosave, I have it set to every 10 minutes, which is the default. Also, another question. For this place to look like that, how is that, like, the cleanest door? I mean, other than the graffiti. Like, the door, though, is in great shape. I mean, of course, the answer would be they replace the door. It's just... It stands out. You were a combat electrician before going into military police in the Navy, and this stuff kind of makes me a bit confused sometimes. Yeah. Video games get weird. But you get it. A lot of these people, they have, like, basic knowledge of home repair and all that. But it's the kind of stuff, you know, you learn from mom and pop or your uncle or your grandfather or whatever. So it's, like, not bad information. It's incomplete. Because, like, one of them probably got some type of proper training and all that. Like, they were in a thing. But when you're an expert in something and you're not specifically in, like, the training side of things, you have a tendency to try and, like, just teach what the things you have to remember. It's a whole problem we run into, and that's actually one of the reasons why I did so well in my teaching software development, as one of the few people who can manage, like, set aside my expertise to, like, put myself in the mindset of someone who doesn't know what they're doing and go, okay, let's go through this, like, from a position where I assume you don't know anything and work your way up. Where one of the kind of pitfalls that a lot of people who have a technical expertise and then try and train someone else is the mentality of, I'm going to teach them to do it right the first time, which is in itself not a bad mentality to go about it. But there's a lot of stuff that unfortunately you kind of have to see how it's done wrong to understand why there's the right or whatever. Oh, you teach half-ass, get done quick, yeah. I mean, no big time electrician knows. See, I'm not a big electrician, but I know do not die. Yeah, like that's people talk to me that they're scared of working with electricity. It's like, oh, are you afraid? It's like, well, no, you just be very methodical about it. You know, you kind of do the equivalent of lockout tagout. You know, even if it's not as formal. The moment you're going to be touching anything electrical, you turn your power off in the entire building or the entire area. And when you're sure it's off, you still plug something in or turn on the light or whatever circuit you're dealing with and make sure it is, in fact, actually off. Because I can't tell you how many times I've gone into place and their breaker is a lie. It's like, this is the living room outlets. You flip the switch and the lights are still on that are plugged in the outlets in the living room. You're like, uh-huh. Don't trust any of this garbage. I've got a screwdriver in my garage. There's a big burn out of the side of it from a apartment that they had two circuits going to one light that were both mislabeled. And so when I flipped the breaker, the light turned off. I was like, cool, power's off. The fan still had power. But I don't know, like I didn't have a specific reason for it. I was just getting this like really uncomfortable vibe about it. And I'm sure there was something I noticed that didn't fit right, even though now I can't really put my finger on what it was. Just something was out of place. And so I took the screwdriver and I bridged the lines just to see if the power was on, and just big blue spark across the entire place, and you heard the breaker pop. I'm like, well, it's off now. But I do not trust the labeling on any breaker ever. Always teach people why you do X as if they were never taught. Never care or disregard. Yeah. Well, it's like in software dev, it's a little different. You can get there, it's like, okay, generally speaking, you should teach people to write code that is adaptable and expandable and clean and therefore more easy to test and yada yada yada. Like there's a whole thing. But you kind of have to sit there and go, all right, we're going to write our code like this. You know, it's an awful shame that every time we're going to change this, it's so incredibly laborious and awful. What if we could make this way less terrible? Oh, what's that? We can by doing this thing you should have been doing in the first place, but didn't know to do. And people will be like, why didn't you teach us that in the first place? I needed you to see how it was when you do it wrong, because otherwise you'll get sloppy. Because you won't understand the consequences of not doing it this way. It's not you like drag them through the mud for hours, it's just, you give them just enough tedium that they're like, this feels terrible. It's like, yep, here's how you get around that. Can't tell this mud. I'm assuming it's mud, because those are footprints. I don't know why it's in the middle of the building with no, like, tracking indoors or, like, a crack in the ground that, you know, the mud could have gotten through or something like that, but, you know, I'm just gonna pretend. There's also not a bathroom anywhere nearby here. So I'm also going that. Plus, mud would stay there. As worn out as this building is, without even having like proper toilets anywhere nearby, if it was the biological material, it wouldn't be that anymore. Unless it was fresh. But I'm going to pretend that's not a possibility. That this place has been properly shuttered and locked for the last 20, 50 years. We're going with 50. Surprisingly, though, those windows are really nice. I don't know how nice. Like, did the person, when they flip it, just go up there with some Windex in several hours and make them sparkle? And ignore the entire rest of the building? The other question I have is, why does this pressure washer have a big glowing box on the top of it? Like it's some type of super futuristic weapon? That's like my power cell for... that. Maybe that's to imply it's a battery-operated pressure washer that somehow gets water from the ether. Just sucks it out of the ambient humidity. There's a lot of pressure washing to do in this place. Yeah, so I wouldn't say this game is bad. So far, though, I would actually say it's mostly just okay. Like, there's some things it does fairly well, but there's definitely a lot of things that's like, eh. I mean, almost all these style games, they do have this type of, like, tediousness. Now, granted, I will say the whole, so it's kind of weird. So, like, you play House Flipper, and House Flipper, they'll make you do, like, one segment of tile at a time, one section of paint at a time, but then they give you upgrades that make it go faster. This one, as far as I can tell from the upgrades, it's just faster time, not faster coverage. But then you get to, like, Hotel Renovator, which, because you were dealing with such a larger space, they've given you lots of stuff to make it quality of life efficient-wise. Like, with the sledgehammer, you could, like, click and hold and do, like, this whole section of wall in one go, knock everything off. Which, of course, makes no sense, but is also not tedious. Alright, so now we gotta do all this. But, like, this is kind of trying to be the halfway in between, where it's not as big as a hotel, but it's also, you know, not as small as the house. I feel like they should go more towards the Hotel Renovator so far as, like this part is fine, like stuccoing each segment of wall. I actually don't mind that. The painting is fine, it's relatively fast. The trash pickup, I wish, is faster. Like, again, like Hotel Renovator, you just hit it with, like, a broom, and all the little debris goes away. With the sledgehammer, instead of having to hit each and every individual item one by one, you kind of hit in an area and it kind of AoEs. And I'm fine if it's an upgrade, where you start off, the sledgehammer just kind of taps only once you target the first one, and then by the time you're done with the first room or whatever, it's already gotten upgrade enough. It upsets me so much that those aren't painted. I'm assuming I can stucco these walls. I'm gonna be able to stucco you, right? Ah, okay. But, oh. Oh, it's just the lighting is like, why is it making those green? But it's stuff like that. I'm like, there's not gonna be a decision about it. And there is something to be said about having a game where you do slowly make a space nicer, for the record. But like the trash in this one doesn't feel great. Yeah, it can be very cathartic. Like Pressure Washer Simulator. You do each and every little inch, but you're doing only one tool, versus when you're doing this kind of stuff, I'm gonna do multiple passes. I'm gonna have one pass where, I do the stucco, I'm gonna do another pass where I paint it. What are you? What are you like? Oh, it's just something I need to break. Okay. Done. And I wish, and this is something I wish more games would do, is when you have a specific tool you're going to use, like right now I have to switch to my hands to pick this up. Just just switch it. Like don't make me like do a whole process. You know I'm going to choose my hands. It's not a decision. You're just making me use your wheel more. Just make it flip. What game was that? It was a slice of life game that we did recently. When I say recently, we're talking like in the last 6 months. It wasn't Coral Island. It wasn't Sunhaven. But there was one of them that like literally you just run up and they just use the right tool. You still had to have like your tools upgrade and all the other things, but you didn't have to sit there and be like, switch to tool 1, switch to tool 3, switch to tool 2. You just walked up to the next thing and started banging on the right tool would be switched out. Maybe was it what's the name of that one? Potion Permit. Was it Potion Permit? I feel like it was Potion Permit. Okay. Fix the lines on the tennis court. Oh, I just hold E. I was like, am I gonna break out my paintbrush? Imagine sledgehammer light phone. Yeah, it doesn't look like you actually do break the light and phone on this one. Oh man, in real life, these would be so annoying. You'd get like a scraper or something to like peel up all the shredded tape and then retape it out. Or paint it out. But you'd still end up wanting to like strip off the leftover from before. Otherwise the painted surface would be all over the place. I will say, at least this isn't Snowplow Simulator. Like, this isn't bad. Like, I'm not going at this game going, this is terrible, or anything like that. It's mostly that so many other games in this kind of general area have such quality of life features that are really nice that I'm just finding myself missing them constantly. Which I think is actually a good thing to run into, for the record. Because that's kind of like the genre advancing. That someone comes up with a new idea and other people are like, man, that's a good idea. And you start to see more and more of those little things that help. Now, the thing that I was looking at... Okay, so I have 130 star, which is what I unlock new materials with. How much would you charge for all this work? I don't think I'd be willing to do it, honestly. Like, in real life, you look at this and this character's knocking it out in a matter of minutes. What are you? Just trash. Oh, I think those are the toilet paper roll holders. Um, like for one person doing this is probably a person like months of a person's life going through and doing one thing after the other, assuming they have the expertise to do all these different unrelated things. Like knowing how to stucco, knowing how to paint, knowing how to do the electrical, knowing how to like, do the demolition. Not only the stucco, but knowing how to do like a bunch of different materials like concrete walls, drywall. You'd be talking in a colossal amount of time. So this person would need to be charging at least tens of thousands of dollars. Like doing one of these rooms wouldn't be that big a deal. But I mean, I'm willing to bet someone taking the time to redo just this room. Are you telling me the emergency exit sign is trash? Game? I mean, yes, because it also wasn't actually an exit over there, but yes. Um, but like just doing like let's just pretend it was just this room, just the bathroom. You're talking like a major renovation. We redid all of the walls, so we restuccoed all of the walls. We are painting the walls. We restuccoed and we're gonna paint the ceiling. We removed the sinks and the toilets and all that. We're gonna redo all the plumbing in here. We're gonna do all the flooring. You're talking this room alone would be pushing around the area of $10,000. Because like the toilets will cost you a couple $100 each for the toilet, not counting the labor, unless you really cheap on the toilet, which you could. You could probably get a toilet away 100 and some change. But you're talking two of them at least, so that's like $300-400. Yeah, the sinks will be a bunch. Replacing it with buckets. Yeah, the whole point is like this would be buku bucks by the time you're all said and done. There's a reason why when you hear it's like this place built a new office and it cost them like $1.4 million or $10 million or whatever. There's a reason why it costs so astronomically high. There's just so many different skill sets and there's so much time that goes into it. The classic, everything you look at the surface you'll be like, it's not that bad. But then when you actually get in there to start working out, you start realizing just how much you grossly underestimate how like, and this is true of like any form of expertise, technical, trade skill, whatever. That from the outside, the person, well, even creative, like even just like drawing and all that, that on the outside, the looking is like, yeah, you just draw a picture, and then you like actually sit down with them, going through the whole procedure, and you're like, oh, there's a lot more than I realized. It's like, yep, it's true of pretty much everything. That you just don't know all the things you don't know. Oh yeah, you get to like architectural drawings. Yeah, that is a whole thing. Like even if you're not talking like blueprint, you're just talking about, yeah, exactly. You're just talking about like, we're gonna build this place. It should look like this, yada yada yada. Like even just that is an entire expertise that has many phases. Because especially with some of them, like you have to accurately represent it if you're like involving investors and all that. Because if you misrepresent it, don't misrepresent it. Um, it'll be really bad for you. Okay, so this is a utility room. This is a sports area. That's a utility room. That's a corridor. That's a locker room. These are the toilets. Okay. This is one of those games that they like predetermined what things are gonna be. Alright, so this is a bathroom. You can have just regular tile. It still bothers me so much that you install the tile with a claw hammer. I am not an expert in any of this, but Yeah, I don't have like true white here anyway. Even that's like kind of a an off-white. All right, so we have a bunch of whatever the star points are. Let's actually get some type of tiling wall. Oh wait, we already have this. Oh, there's more here than I realized. This unlocked. It's just they have it like separated out in categories. So I have like this marble looking wall here. Okay. All right, that's much better. Because instead of looking there like I only have these and it's like these are terrible. Like they're fine, but using them for literally everything. Make it the ugliest style. This one's pretty bad. Done. I am convinced. Like, this wouldn't be bad for, like, an accent wall of, like, a spa or something like that. Alright, so I need 100 points. Like, an access wall for, like, a spa or something like that. Accent wall for a spa or something like that. But this is the locker room. Okay. So we have different stuff for the ceiling. With drop ceiling. Excellent. Oh, I didn't stucco you. Just goes into every place, does the beige walls, the drop ceiling, the same like ugly carpet, and fluorescent lights. Let's make this place truly, truly stink of the 70s and 80s when it comes to the lights they would put in offices. Like the years are fine, but those were choices that were made back then that should straight up never be considered ever again. Um, right, so I still need to paint these walls. Only 30 Sports Center with 1970s like if you're going for 1970s fashion of like disco and all that, I could actually see that working. But like this is upsetting. Oh yeah, drop ceiling. Hmm. Like there's a reason you use drop ceiling. It's how you get access to wires and everything. Like, because then you would have like a gap in between your floors so you could like run conduit and everything through. Like that's why it exists. It's easy access. But still. This is awful. Yeah, I think what we'll end up doing is we'll probably end up finishing this room and we'll go on to our next game. Like I said, it's not a bad game, but I'm just immediately comparing it to other games in the genre, and there's just so many quality of life things that other games are doing these days that kind of by being, not having those things, it ends up kind of like really hurting it. Yeah, that's upsetting. Like, that'd be a cool pattern in a different room, but that is absolutely not correct to go with those walls. Hang on. Utility room, make sure the tile's steel. Oh, you gave me an idea. It's don't make the whole room steel. That would look reasonable. That would look absolutely reasonable. We need what looks metal. Ah, that's wood. I need I don't really have something that looks really metal to me. They don't they don't have like a metal grading floor. Like that's carpet. You pretend the gray carpet is metal. Yeah, so just one metal plate directly below the electrical box when you work on it. Hey, Joyful Glow, how's it going? We're doing terrible things. Those go together, right? That isn't hideously clashing. And we're not using drop ceiling because I mean, obviously, drop ceiling is just the way to go. Just absolutely everyone's drop ceiling. That is just the aesthetic for your local sports center. All right, now seriously, what do we have that looks metal for this wall? Let's see, what even is this? It reminds me of my summer car without the cars. It's Arena Renovate or a Renovation. It's like Hotel Renovator, but sports arenas. That said, I have said that like it's not a bad game from what I'm finding, but I am finding that like a lot of quality of life stuff they do in other games we just don't have here. We'll just pretend that's corrugated metal with our electrical box on it, which still greatly lifts. I'm leaving that open. Oh wait, hang on. There's graffiti on this. Don't worry about it. This is fine. This is not a problem. Don't worry about this at all. I mean, certainly you pressure wash your fuse box with the power on, of course. That stays open. Water helps it fuse. I mean, technically, water would absolutely help there be a circuit. Oh yeah, I switch this. You know what? It's fine. We'll make this whole thing look like corrugated metal. Um, it would technically help complete a circuit. Not necessarily the circuit you're going for, but a circuit would more than likely be completed. All right, what are my choices here? Actually, orange may be my favorite color. It does not work well for a lot of these things. What are my choices for you, by the way? Before I said anything, I bet you're going to make it look nice. That's... Oh, net. Get out of here. I'm also thinking we have this entire sports center built for that tennis court. Singular. One. Individual. Yeah, orange is a great color. I really like it. There's some things that, as much as I love the color, I will fully admit it doesn't work well. There are not many cars that can pull off orange. And when they do, it's almost always burnt orange, not like a brighter orange. Like usually cars when they get like that kind of bright orange, like, I love the color, but this is not the place. And sadly, I cannot paint the net or the floor. It looks like cheese. Yeah, it bothers me that you can't just like stucco over that. Like everything else I can, but that's just right out. I do like that it remembers between the types of things I'm painting, the colors I choose. They don't have to do that thing that a lot of these games where, I'll choose the color in one place and then I'll have to like choose the next color because now I'm looking at interior space and I'll have to go back to the first choice. Yeah, I'll make the whole thing. But like I said, I think this will be the last one we did. This will be the second place we did. Like I said, I don't think it's bad. I do think what'll happen is as they get farther in development in the early access thing and they start polishing it up, I could actually see it being a good game. Like, conceptually, it's good. Still only have 40 points. Like, conceptually, it's good, but, there's definitely places to improve. So, I'm actually getting paid $12 every time I paint. Well, you just writes up, like, several page long email with schematics and everything about how appallingly wrong their electrical is and how deeply it upset me. Because the electrical in this specific level was deeply upsetting. When we came in here, this was shooting sparks out of it. The main power cutoff is after the fuse box, not before it. So with the power off of the building, this was blasting sparks out of it. And I'm like, no, this isn't what you do. You go outside and you fix this outside. You don't, you kill the power. You don't reach into the box that's actively throwing sparks at you. I missed something. Oh, nope, 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 don't do that. That's not what we want. Where is... There you are. Something got missed. It's telling me I have 97% renovation for the room. I'm not done. Okay, it's not something like that. Yeah, see? That should have been the first thing I did. Is I should have walked in this room, seen the sparks, pulled that lever from the on to the off position, the sparks stop, and then I deal with it. And your cleanliness is not maxed. Oh, hang on. Apparently, I'm just going to take the light switch off of the wall because it's dirty. At 97% upsets me because I don't know. I don't think it's that corner because technically that's carpet. I'm trying to make it look like metal. And that, like, that wall there looks like metal corrugated. So I don't see a spot I missed. You bet it's graffiti? That's actually a good call. Oh, you bet it's this graffiti on this thing. That'd be so upsetting, and you might be right. Well, if I don't finish it, I don't finish it. Alright, so... Yeah, the way I'll say is they've got a really good start for this game. There's just things they could improve on. It's a feature, not a bug. Yep. If it wasn't too lazy, I would have switched out the paint to make it like black or whatever for those window frames and all that. Wound up being high school colors. Checks out. That jump is much less than I thought it was going to be. I was like, yeah, I'll just jump and reach this spot, and my character jumps like 2 centimeters. You're like, oh, we really do not have the ups. That's the reason why we renovate sports centers, is we just really wanted to be involved in basketball, but like, you know, we just do not have that as our skill set. Hmm. Oh, right, the floor. Except it's not highlighting the floor. Alright, so it's not the floor because it can't do the floor. What am I missing? If it's these overhead beams, I can't actually reach those. Scaffolding 5? How do... How do... How do I... Hey. Hey, the ladder. Oh, I see. I could have gotten the one scaffolding that was both in one, but I have to put like the two scaffolding together. Yeah, I mean, it's realistic, but I also don't like it. Alright, well, this is annoying. The worst thing is I think you'd end up needing both of these as opposed to one big one. Because there's going to be a case where I don't need to go all the way up, just this much up. If I have the really big one, no, I wouldn't probably need to. If I had like the really big one, then I wouldn't be able to necessarily put in the same spaces because it'd be too tall kind of thing. Oh. That one's definitely out of reach. Like, don't get me wrong, doing the double scaffolding is kind of a cool idea, but I could see this getting super tedious super fast. Especially if you're like sitting there and it's got like the one spot you missed and you don't know where it is, and you're going, okay, did like one of these girders I only 60 or 70%ed it and it doesn't count. Yeah, so I don't think I like the scaffolding how it works. I think it's a neat idea, but like, I do think you should have the scaffolding. Just need to make it easier to like move it without being a whole big pain. Can I reach that? I want to be able to reach that. Get out of here. Oh. Well, that means I got a whole lot more to do. Shove you in the corner. Yeah, they need a better way to do the scaffolding than this. I get that it's realistic, and for people who are like, ah, realism, cool. This is gonna get super annoying, super fast. And it's everything can reach from here, right? Yep. Move to the next spot. Like, don't get me wrong, you still get the cathartic thing of the building like slowly getting nicer and nicer. It's just a couple of like little things of like the whole having to like click and move the scaffolding bit by bit. The whole like click and hold just to move or interact with things is kind of, I get that they're trying to make you not make mistakes, but then at the same time, if I actually just touch for a second with a paintbrush, I do make a mistake. Feels kind of like on one hand they're doing something to try and make it better, but then also not. And like none of that's major problems. Like it'll be a thing that being early access they'll adjust one way or the other, I would assume. All right, well, let's go ahead and finish what I need this thing for. Now I can take the other scaffolding upstairs to deal with the spot by the office. Okay. Like, maybe one of the ways they can make the Raptors better is with, like, this whole duel situation, that you could actually, like, latch them together kind of thing and move them as a unit. I understand that's not realistic, but the whole, like, shifting them as a pair, like, one then the other, one then the other, one then the other, is a whole lot, like, running up and down and is just kind of obnoxious. I don't think you should have to click and hold to move them, because you can just pick it back up and put it right back, so I don't see a reason for that. Same with the trash. Picking up the trash, I don't think you should have to click and hold for that. You should just click. If not, be able to make it so that when you upgrade, that you can do it as like large groups of trash at once. Like, have the leveling mechanic genuinely give you a much better way of doing it. Because as the UI presents it, it looks like the leveling mechanic just makes it go from the current speed to like 75% to 50% to 25% to instantaneous. Okay, so we're still only 80% done with the room, but that might be just that area up there. So I'm going to grab this one and not the other one, because I'm not going to be able to fit the full giant thing up there. So I did need the two different sizes, which it actually started me out with the one I have in my hand right now. You can also have it where when you're moving those, they have a lot of the other stuff will like kind of stick to the wall. So when you aim it towards the wall, like it'll go only as far as it hits the wall and that stops. Probably do that with the scaffolding as well. Because you're never going to put it where you're not allowed to put it, so don't give me the option. Oh, there's a diagonal right there that I missed. Or not. No, right. Isn't there... Okay, so it's telling me I can put flooring up here. Because I've got, like, what you need to do vision. I just have to use it. Another thing is a lot of the default controls, I don't know what they're expect the person's hand to be. I have to end up taking my entire hand off the mouse to reach the complete opposite side of the keyboard. So just the default mapping probably needs some love. Which, that kind of goes back to the wheel. Like, I wish I could scroll wheel up and down to switch my tools. Or use the number keys to switch my tools. I don't like how many games they depend you using a radial wheel. Like, it's fine on console, that's where it comes from. But for a lot of people who play PC games, that's not where we think of first. It'd just be way more convenient to be like, oh, I need the tiler. Click up, now I have the tiler. Click up, now I got the paintbrush. So that'd be a nice change as well. Alright, so you're not cleaned. Oh, they consider that trash. Makes sense. Alright, you're renovated and clean now. It says you have minimal furnishing. Then you're not renovated yet. But yeah. So I'd almost recommend the devs of this game to look at Hotel Renovator and look at the quality of life things they've done in their game and consider those. And I know a bunch of people be like, but no, but that's copying. It's like, if someone gives a good idea quality of life wise, copying that is just being responsible. Like, that's good. That usually ends up helping with like accessibility stuff and making game feel more fluid and all that kind of stuff. I also, honestly, I don't see a reason for the different floor styles to be unlocked in the way they are, where it's like a point thing. I almost would rather it be just like with your character levels. It just goes, here's a bunch that you get to choose from. I don't know. I don't think that's actually that big a deal. Okay, so now I got furnishings. I believe, yes, this room has. Oh, right. All right. I don't know why that didn't count, but okay, sure. Because they have like the vision thing. I appreciate the vision thing where you hit the button and it'll be like, that's the wall that's messed up. I forgot that was a thing because I didn't end up needing it much in the last one. All right. Okay, so you got toilets. Um, sure. Oh, it's a whole cabin? Oh. I wish that had some kind of snapping. Or it does have snapping. I wish the snapping worked well. Because I could try and scooch that over to like get that lined up right. Be careful, be careful. Alright, we did get it. Okay, cool. Now, we're just gonna go over here. Good enough. I would totally put the two toilets facing each other in the stall, just because. Oh yeah, I debated doing that. But like you have to put down like quite a bit of furniture. One thing I also appreciate that House Flipper does that probably isn't a good thing for this one. A toilet screen. Okay. One soap dispenser for all three of them. Fight. Perfect. So you have to like really reach up there to get your soap or your toilet paper. It's fine. You'll put the towel dispensers directly below the sinks. And the toilet bowl brush will be right here at the front. So if you have to need it, you have to leave your stall, go all the way out here, go to where there's no door and everyone can see you out on the floor to grab your toilet bowl brush to walk it back. Um, I don't know, just put some urinals in here. Oh, good. I'm only gonna need 2 urinals. That's fine. Okay, so bathroom is technically done. Next up, the locker room. Um. Oh, I'm still selecting. Oh, that whole time I was in the bathroom. I was set to toilets. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Is there? Oh, there's really not a whole lot I can do in the locker rooms. Ow. 100 of these things? Like, I can't even get the wood locker. It's just too expensive. Alright, well, whatever. I also kind of wish you get them to snap to each other horizontally, like they do to the wall. There's a bunch of little things like that. That, like if I got here, that it would kind of like once. Not actually. Don't even make it go. Like once I ram it to the point it wouldn't accept it, it kind of stops at the last distance that it would be willing to accept. That's probably plenty of lockers. Wants more furnishings. All right, well, get lost, level 99 Jesus. That's just Twitch these days. Not something I, as the streamer, really get to choose anything about with, so. All right, so that room's done. Corridor. Yeah, it's. I don't know if people realize it, and I get that. But, like, as a streamer, you get, like, very little control over this stuff. You can choose pre rolls or mid rolls. And I'm guessing that, that level 99 Jesus joined into the pre-roll, or not pre-roll, the mid-roll ads, so thought they were pre-rolls, and was like, my god, why are the pre-rolls so long? Which would just reinforce why I don't do pre-rolls. But yeah, it's a crap thing, and it messes with your headspace. Because, like, you know, it is, in, like, this being a perfect example, it is going to drive people away, but you also don't get no as an option, and people are whiny to you about it, and it's like, but I have no ability to do anything about it. Go scream at Twitch and YouTube and every single content create platform there is, because they all freaking do it. There is no escape from ads anymore. Outside of, like, subbing or Twitch Turbo or whatever. You have to see an ad of Twitch? No idea why? I mean, here you won't see them because you're subbed. Or if you got Twitch Turbo, you wouldn't see them either. Alright, so that room's done, this room's done. The utility room. Oh, there's even a little thing in the bottom right that shows how much it makes a difference. Okay. An outdoor AC right here. Oh, it say an outdoor AC right here in the middle. Let's put that right. Oh, I can't put it up there. Put that right here by the electrical. Like anywhere in Twitch. Not playing though. Yeah, it could also be depending on your location. That ends up being a thing that plays heavily into, like, what ads you see, how many, and all that. So areas have much more lax laws around advertising, such as here in the U.S. You tend to see a lot more markets that are like targeted more often. Again, like U.S., Europe, that kind of place. You tend to see more, but it also depends on your local laws. Because, like, the laws are, like, really strict. There's a lot of companies who won't advertise on them because they want to advertise stuff that they're not allowed to. Huh, I'm actually surprised. So, like, even being, like, way in the middle of nowhere, Texas, still being in Texas, I'd expect you to get quite a few ads. But again, not I would definitely not complain. But yeah, just for everyone who got caught with the ads, just because someone ended up bringing it up kind of thing. I don't run pre-rolls, so where I'm assuming the person popped in and they just happened to catch the full ad break, was upset and bailed. Streamers don't really get a whole lot of control over that. So if that upsets you, that's something you gotta take up with Twitch. I don't get any much say past whether you get hit with pre-rolls or mid-rolls, and if you join during a mid-roll, it's effectively the same thing as a pre-roll. It is what it is. It sucks. No one likes it. It's also not something I as a streamer have a control over. So, you know. That is the demon that we deal with. If you want to make it go away, you got a couple of options. Your first option is to sub to the channel. Obviously, I have a very much have a personal interest in you doing so because that gets me paid. That is not why I run ads on the channel. I've run ads since well before the ad incentive program and all that kind of garbage. Some of the other things you can do is there's a thing called Twitch Turbo. It is not well advertised on the platform at all. But it basically turns off all ads across almost the entire platform. So it is definitely worth considering. Runs about $9 a month. You know, your local price might be different because different locations have different prices and yada yada yada. But that's about what it typically goes for. And then the last one is finding a technical solution, of which I will simply state I don't know what does and doesn't work because I use Twitch Turbo. But if you do find something that does work for you, you know, it's not going to upset me. Because very much the revenue is not particularly relevant. You being here is more important than me hitting you up for a couple of pennies worth of ads. But like I said, we don't really get a choice in that. Or just be lucky. Yeah, or you're just lucky and you're not in an area that is being heavily marketed towards, and therefore you're fortunate enough to not be subjected to nearly as many ads. At which point, tell no one. Consider it, well, I mean, don't tell no one. You know, be happy for what you have, and hopefully they never fix it. But it's just the nature. All content creation platforms, you're going to get ads. I'm not saying that's a good thing. That's just the reality we live in. Sports areas. Vending machine. Water. YouTube is the worst one. Yeah, there is some ways that some of the platforms are worse than each other. Oh, how much can I encroach on the? Okay, I was curious if I could like just shove this directly on there. So that's blocking the door. There's not enough room for this, unfortunately. But yeah, the big point is like people make a big stink. It's like, all right, we'll go to whatever platform doesn't have them. Oh right. I know we're all upset about ads, but unfortunately, there isn't that one that doesn't have them. Like, it's a non-existent plate. It bothers me that oh no, I can hang it on the girder. Okay, never mind, I can't. It bothers me that you would put it here, kind of thing. And the reason that bothers me is because then the people on the court wouldn't be able to see it. I can put it back here, which isn't great. Because that means this person has to turn around, but there isn't a good spot for it. But at least that way the people standing up there, I'm going to pretend that's where like the viewing is, can get out their binoculars and see it, I guess. Oh, well, that's lame. Fitness ball, step medium, mats, fitness equipment, table tennis. Tennis court does double duty. The lines aren't there or anything, but it's doing double duty there. Oh, we're already finished sport. Really? Well, I mean, that's fine. Okay. Are you put on one side? Yeah, I debated that, but like the net's unmovable kind of thing. Like putting them on either side would be closer, right? It still wouldn't be the right dimensions for a basketball court, but I kind of figured this way you have like a half court here and a half court there. Like it's obviously not striped for basketball and all that, so it is what it is. But either way, we'll do an outdoor AC indoors. Perfect. We'll pretend the electrical box runs the AC. And we're making this into like just a storage room kind of thing. Because we got the bay door right there. Boxes haphazardly strewn everywhere. I actually would have piled them on top of each other. I like how you buy random boxes as decorations. It's like, what is this box? Oh no, it's just a box. There's nothing here. It's just a box. Alright, so you're telling me that tile's not done, and that's, I mean, the spot of ceiling is definitely not done. Alright, so we have fully finished this place. It is maxed out, so welcome to our wonderful establishment. We've got our nice little like storage room. So for any proper storage room, everyone knows you have a carpeted floor. That way the wheels can get all bound up on your, what are they called? Not forklift. The forklift's the big machinery. The pallet jack. That way your pallet jack with their tiny little wheels can get their little caster wheels on here, rip up the carpet and get all stuck on it. But nevertheless, you've got your storage. And we come out here. It is a nice tennis court with basketball courts. That way, as you're going to try and get that shot, you run over the side and you slam your head directly into the very clearly steel basketball thing. Concuss yourself mildly trying to get that shot for your tennis play. Or you manage to jump over this way, swing, and serve it directly into the pole. That way you don't get credit. Perfectly done. And we'll have our never actually filled water container and then our soda. We go into our quarter. We've got more soda and another empty water container. Some chairs and a radiator, nothing really to talk about there. We've got our wonderful utility room where our actual power comes in with an outdoor AC indoors. A random switch box that doesn't do anything. We have our fuse box that shoots fire, shoots sparks everywhere when in use. And is before the power cutoff, so that way in an emergency you can't remove fuses or anything. It doesn't help. That box is always live, always and forever unless you go outside, so that's lovely. And only 3 of these circuits have green lights on them. Apparently, we won't worry about that. And more storage. Oh, and this we're going to pretend is a metal grating on there and a metal wall. Perfect for your electrical. Followed up by a locker room. It's actually basically just a normal locker room. And then a bathroom, where we have our wonderful stalls here. Pretty straightforward. With toilet paper at the top, so that way, when you're sitting here using the restroom and you go, wait a second, where's my toilet paper? You get to have that awkward thing of like leaning right up against the door to try and reach up to grab your toilet paper. But also, that may look like a latch. It doesn't work. That way, if you fall forward, you swing the door open. It's a whole thing. 100% we're getting sued. We have one soap dispenser for 3 sinks. That way, if you're the person here in the middle awkwardly, you'll have the people reaching past you to get the soap constantly, making it weird. And then when you step back, your paper towels are down below. That way, every little bit of water you splash off the side of the sinks because you're, not being careful, gets your paper towels soaking wet. Perfect for drying off your hands. Oh, and if you had to clean up the toilet, people aren't actually good about this, but say you do decide like you're not going to leave it a disaster for the next person, the toilet bowl brush is all the way out with no door directly visible from the tennis court. So when you go for that toilet bowl brush, either A, people think you're a wonderful person, taking the effort to make the toilet slightly less of a sty, that you came in went, that's gross, and tried to make better, or that you are in fact the person who did that. And then 2 urinals, because I needed to have more furnishing. Anyway, go around up top here. We have our wonderful orange everything. That is such a bright room. With a corrugated metal walls, and more of our disgusting carpet. With a single desk with a computer on it, a coffee machine, and a water dispenser and a radiator. The office is actually... This actually feels like what an office in this place would look like. And that is a grand tour of our place. And we have our incredible jumps. Our person is a legend. I can jump about a foot, maybe 1.5 feet. We got them ups. Oh, and a scoreboard that if you're up here watching the game, there is no way you are reading that scoreboard. Yep. Nice place. Perfect. How do I leave this place? Alright. So, nevertheless, this has been Arena Renovation with fire exits that don't work. Yep. Absolutely. And we had an emergency, fire sign here, which I found really weird because none of those are exits. So I guess it made sense that we marked it as trash because it was a lie. But it also feels like... I mean, what is the actual entrance to this place? Because that's a bay door. That's where, the truck pulls up. Am I to assume that this is the way in and out of this place? Is there just, a stairwell outside that goes up here and goes to this? And then you walk in and just, effectively going, you're on the 2nd story? Or is it, this whole building is sunk in the ground that far? I want outside to see what your building is. Because this doesn't make sense to me. Why would you not have, the doors here? Put the doors there. You walk in. Or that. You could also move the ladder to be over there and have the doors down here. It's a weird layout. I mean, very clearly this is a warehouse someone shoved a tennis court in down its later in its life. Okay. So let's save our game to, my arena, that's fine. And I'm not going to actually go into the next one. So I do see there's a buy and sell property. So it does seem like it's going to be like House Flipper, where you start out, they give you a place to work on, then they give you the next place to work on, they give you the next place to work on, and then you can buy from random ones, and you'll be expected to do a thing and then turn around and sell them. We're just going to look at this one. It looks like it's a basketball court. Hi.
Hi. My husband is so handsome.
Do you like my basketball arena?
What? That doesn't look like an arena. Okay, here we go. No, I don't like it. You can't play ball there. Your net's falling down. There's hazards. There are hazards in the arena.
I'm calling this graffiti. But yeah. Oh, body, mind, spirit, of course. Excellent. Yeah, it's one of these games where you get trash places, you make them nice. It's okay. Let's actually, can I go back to my other ones? Let's see if I can go back to one of my other facilities I finished, if it'll actually remember.
Early access game. What's the name of it?
It's Arena Renovation.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I deliberately chose awful color schemes for this place.
So this place is done?
Yeah.
Oh, you did choose an awful color scheme. Good for you.
Apparently it decided that that's reverted. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're not like an electrical expert or anything like that.
No.
How do you feel about the idea of your main power coming
Mhm.
into your circuit breaker,
Okay.
then coming back out,
Yep.
and then going to your power cutoff,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest of your plays? Because we walked in here, and this was shooting sparks and everything with the power turned off. There was a lot of us who were very upset about this.
Yeah. I mean, that could be like a quick disconnect that would be after your breaker, possibly.
Nah, it's fine.
There's graffiti on the inside of your box.
I know.
I feel like you shouldn't shoot water in there.
Not with that attitude. But yeah.
Cat says, show me the bathroom.
Oh, sure, the bathroom? Yep, so we've got our pretty typical stalls.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah. There's
Yep.
no toilet paper.
No, yeah, there's toilet paper.
Okay.
We'll make it so the doors don't latch. So you sit there, and you do what you gotta do, and you go, huh? What? Oh.
Uh-huh.
And then you'll go up here, and you'll be like leaning on your tippy toes to reach that, fall through the door real fast.
Yeah, great.
It'd be great.
Yep.
We've got here 3 sinks, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Where we have 1 soap dispenser in the middle, so that way everyone has to reach in front of us awkwardly.
Been in bathrooms like that. It's really horrible.
You're like, excuse me. And then the paper towel's directly below the sink.
That's awful.
And then in case you do need to clean your toilet, the toilet bowl brush is right here, where there's no door with plain view out to the entire area. So that way everyone knows what's up.
Sure, yeah.
The locker room is just a locker room. There's nothing exciting about it. Oh yeah, it's carpet technically, but we wanted to make that look like metal flooring and then metal sheet wall, for your electrical box. Oh, and an outdoor AC indoors.
Yep, not on the window.
Nope. Put some basketball courts right here. That way, they shoot across. You run. Gong.
Uh-huh. So did the game say that this was all okay? Like.
Yep.
Okay.
Technically, we're at 100% when we left, but
Excellent.
It seems like it forgot a tile or two. Like the load seems to have had a few quirks.
Sure.
And then there's just the office. This actually looks like almost exactly what you expect for an office in one of these.
Yeah, office.
And yes, I chose to paint it the orange color.
Lovely.
I had to get multiple, you had to put one thing of scaffolding and then another thing of taller scaffolding just to reach it all. And then to go to the next spot, you had to click and hold and then move to the next spot, go to the other one, click and hold and move to the next one, then walk up, paint the 2 spots, go back down, pick it up, move it. The game is early access. There's a lot of good stuff going on for it. And there's stuff like, this is just tedious.
Joyful Glow, I told him to put the toilets facing each other. That'd be excellent.
Yeah.
There's this subreddit called Our Urinal Design, and it's glorious. It's all stuff like that. Where there'll be 2 urinals in a corner, next to each other on the wall or whatever.
I wish when you got your screenshot of the place, it would update it appropriately. So yeah, so this is the first. Yeah, this is the first place I did was ping pong.
Mm-hmm.
Where I had 4 choices of paint color, and it's just a blocker room. And this one, I misunderstood what it wanted the room to be.
Okay.
It wants this to be a utility. Well, now it says, yeah, it wants it to be.
Dumpster in your room.
It wanted to be a utility room. And I misunderstood as a corridor to go in, so I was putting in corridor furniture, which didn't count.
What's in the vending machine?
Soda.
Oh, okay.
But I put in, furniture that wasn't counting. How much furniture does it want me to shove in this room?
You have a lot of furniture shoved into that room.
Because it wasn't counting it.
That's not a pretty green color. The walls.
I had 4 choices to choose. I had blue, I had white, I had not quite as white, black, and that. So I used the blue in there,
Yeah,
the green there. That is just white, and then this is the other one.
It does remind me of Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, they do have a pressure washing thing. It's alright. If you're actually looking for a game around this style, the one I'd actually recommend is Hotel Renovator. Same concept, but better.
Aww.
But this is early access, so it's got a ways to go.
Yeah.
I'm just shoving stuff down to get my furnishing credit. Oh, here. Do this.
Yay, vending. Our soda's the only thing that can be from the vending machine. The only
Yep.
vending machine. Oh.
Apparently putting in the vending machine is like done. Even though I had only gone a tiny percent. They're
You
like,
put it in the middle of the room.
yup.
Nice. Yeah, back to back. Great. Loop. They're gonna drink so much soda.
But yeah, so genuinely speaking, like the game's fun. It has some rough corners and all that, but early access, it's about what you expect. Some things aren't super well communicated to the player is one problem. But then there's just like quality of life stuff. Like it got really spoiled with Hotel Renovator, that you'd have like all your trash on the floor and you could just like sweep it all in one go. This one you have to be like click and hold, click and hold, click and hold, click and hold, click it up. Your bag's full. Chuck in the trash, click and hold, click and hold, click and hold, click and hold, run back over here.
That dude that
Chuck
keeps
in the trash.
popping up, he sure does look like someone that would be on HGTV.
Yeah. And it's only like one or two things, to be clear. Like it is those things that like literally all they have to do is just be like, okay, it's an AoE thing. So instead of me clicking and holding on one, it would just like grab like the 5 closest and it would be so much better. And I'm even okay, you actually do have like a leveling mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, grab my Steam profile.
Uh-huh.
Like I would be perfectly fine because these just make it faster. Like it's just
Faster.
faster. I would love it if for like picking up the trash, like instead of the trash hold being faster, like get rid of that. And instead, like same time but AoE. You just pick up a bunch of stuff. Rual would felt like he would be on HGTV. Yep.
Does he look like one of the Property Brothers? Look at him.
But yeah. There's been a decent number of games. But yeah, they were kind enough to send me keys, so it's like I've said I feel like the game in its current state is okay. Like I don't think you'd be upset if you bought it or anything. Like I should say I don't know what the price is. If it's $80, then yes, I'd be upset if I bought it for that. But like for a reasonable price, it's a perfectly decent game.
I know it's fun. You get to make a room.
Yeah. It's early access. Like
yeah.
there hasn't been decisions I went, oh man, there's no coming back from that. Like it's
Yeah.
fundamentally flawed. Like the profile, make this instead of just faster, which is the easy one, just increment or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I see that says, oh, instant trash removal. I mean, still.
Ooh.
But yeah, so like make like
run twice as fast. Noise.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't feel like running was ever a problem. So like the instant trash removal, if that's an AoE, that'd be really good. Long hands is fine. But yeah, like honestly, a lot of the stuff where it's like +%, whatever. I would rather it was AoE. Like I would go to paint one spot and I could paint and hold the button a second longer and it'd go to like 3 spots.
Yeah, joyful glow's nice to me.
Uh-huh. Well, that's because you're fantastic.
You're fantastic.
So with that, we're going to move to the next game we have on the roster for today.
Bye, Arena Renovation.
Because like I said, this game has been fun.
I'm fun.
But it does definitely have some clearly early access pain points. Hopefully they do put in the effort on the what's the words I'm looking for? The quality of life kind of stuff. Because I'm actually kind of tired of games that are like, we wanted to take the time and all that, and like, or you could not. See, can't for the life of me think of the name of the game. The devs made a sort of business game dev sim before, and now it was sort of biz sim. Yeah, I don't know. The ones I know is there's like House Flippers,